This is Weather or Not.
And it is Thursday, brand new edition of Weather or Not. Thanks for stopping in. And Thursday, and that means drought day.
Yeah.
Drought update day.
And latest update coming in. Let's actually kind of do a deep dive into this and give you the first alert to it. And I love what we're doing here because let's talk about last week. We obviously remember when this came out last week. Last Thursday, widespread severe drought, almost all of Georgetown County, even Horry County. Yeah, drought conditions were certainly ongoing, Jamie.
And let's go to this week, and it's really kind of interesting how this played out. You can literally see exactly where it rained last week. Remember, I believe it was Tuesday, and then again last Saturday, we had two pretty good rounds of storms there in the South Strand from Bucksport down into Murrells Inlet. And you can see a little bit of improvement there, actually a decent improvement there for Georgetown County, where we went from 80-something% in severe drought to 37%. But the drought continues, at least the severe drought, from the heart of Myrtle Beach up into the north end of the Grand Strand. That north end of Horry County last week really missed out on a lot of the rain.
Yeah, you think of places like Loris, you think of places like Longs, you go up into Hand, you even go up as you go into Myrtle Beach, Carolina Forest. You know the story that's been ongoing there. So the question is, when will we get some of that rain? But before we do that, while we had improvements in our area, what's fascinating is we took the severe drought that was basically in Murrells Inlet and Garden City and Surfside, and that started to grow to our south. But notice across our region, starting to see some improvements along the I-95 corridor as we turn a new month here. Obviously May a little bit more active for inland areas. But here's a look at it for the state. Last week, 57% of South Carolina was in the moderate drought. What's a fun fact is that 5% of the severe drought was just our area. Now it's increased though, and it's down across Charleston. They're now starting to pick up on no rain. They need it badly.
So this week, 8%, as you mentioned, they are in severe drought, extending down into the low country, holding steady with the moderate drought conditions. So overall, kind of calling it a wash. You know, one tiny area picking up a little bit of improvement there across the South Strand. Hopefully, though, we can now start to see some of that improvement increasing as we head into the weekend with showers and storms set to arrive, but it's going to be kind of like last week where there's hits and misses and winners and losers, and we're still kind of trying to nail down those rainfall chances. But here's where we stand so far as the rainfall goes. And when you look at these numbers, it's not extreme. Typically by this time of the year in the Grand Strand, we've picked up just over 9 inches of rain. So far, we're just over 7 inches of rain. So that's really only a 2-inch deficit, but it's the fact that it's been, let me try to think of the best way to say this. It hasn't been spread out. Winter, we did pretty good. We did pretty good over the winter, but we're really racking up those rainfall deficits now.
And we really started this, if you really want to go back, about mid in December. Most of winter was great, but then we obviously came in at a deficit. And like you said, we need consistent bounce of rain. So while it only shows 2 inches, we still need several more to completely get back to normal. Fun fact too, May for the Grand Strand, the second driest month.
Behind April.
Behind April. So chances obviously that this continues pretty high, at least for the next couple of weeks.
And you can see that same trend there for Florence, where they're actually a little bit above for the year. That's why the drought conditions not quite as bad there. Similar numbers in Florence, Lumberton rather, only running 2 to 3 inches below normal, but we're just sort of in the time of the year where we need the rain desperately. Things dry out quickly this time of the year. Plants and shrubs that are really greening out now soak up a lot of water out of the ground. So even if you do get a decent downpour one day, a day or two later, that rain is pretty much gone. It's not that soaking rain that we really need and that we're probably not going to see, but we'll take what we can get.
We will take what we can get. A lot of people questioning what does the weekend look like? We've been talking about how this has all been shifting. What you need to know here is we'll give you the first alert. You can keep your outdoor plans this weekend. New data this morning. I really like Saturday trending drier for the beaches. And Sunday's the day that if you're thinking about, okay, indoor, outdoor plans, Saturday's great for outdoor. Sunday might be the day where you need to be a little bit more flexible or move your indoor plans to Sunday. If you're thinking about, okay, I need some housework to do, need to clean the house, Sunday could be a good day for it.
Yeah, get the yard work done Saturday, get the housework done on Sunday. That might be the best bet. Either way, though, for the entire stretch of the weekend, just kind of keep up with the forecast because we're in that time of the year where things can kind of shift around, especially with this system that has certainly been showing a lot of slowing down in all of the latest data. So let's walk you through it, starting off with tomorrow. Holding any rain chances Friday, primarily well inland. I think the I-95 corridor and points west going to have that best chance for some downpours tomorrow afternoon and evening.
Certainly going to be the case. And at this point, I think the Grand Strand's completely dry. You might notice a few more clouds. Let me tell you, though, it will be humid as this rain moves in. We'll advance this forward, and as we do so, you'll notice we'll go into Saturday once again, just like yesterday, the morning looking dry. Still can't rule out an isolated shower for the beaches, mainly along the sea breeze on Saturday, but at this point, the best chances are going to be to the northwest, I-95 corridor, maybe starting to introduce that a little bit more into southern Florence and Marion County, or in Georgetown County, though your chances still pretty low.
Yeah, and then as we head into Sunday, that's still kind of the tricky day. Leaning towards Sunday with the best chance of showers and storms yesterday. It was looking like maybe Sunday morning. Now still kind of hanging on to maybe Sunday afternoon and evening as that front finally gets close enough to really start having an impact on our rain chances around here as we work our way into the back half of the weekend.
Yeah, one of the reasons people have been asking, and I think this is a fun time for us to do this on the show, cold front slowing down, low pressure doesn't have any forcing. There could be a chance, keyword could be, that this actually cuts off and brings in showers well into even Monday and maybe Tuesday for portions of the East Coast next week, something we're going to have to watch.
Yeah, that front kind of moving like a herd of turtles, not really budging much at all, just going to kind of hang out here as we head into early next week.
And it's not only just us, it is other locations that are going to be seeing the effects of that slow moving cold front. Let's take you coast to coast, shall we? And one of those areas, it's the Midwest. You'll notice this system, what looked to be a little bit faster, now going to bring another round of showers and storms to an area that could really need a break. They've been dealing with constant storms across basically the Midwest, all the way through the Ohio Valley, even the potential of a stronger severe storm there for the Oaks up in Louisville. They're going to have to keep an eye on that. It's those bouts of showers and storms that will continue for Friday.
Yeah, hey, Kentucky, how about sharing a little bit of that rain with us down here? We could use a little bit. Temperature-wise, with the clouds, with some showers and storms, it's mild, nothing too crazy. Temperature sitting generally into the upper 70s to lower 80s there from Kentucky into Tennessee, and low to mid 70s as you head up into parts of Ohio, Indiana, as well as Illinois. Let's take you to Louisville. Yeah, it is Derby weekend, and it seems like it always rains on Derby weekend. I'm not a huge Derby follower, but it seems like there's always at least a good, decent shot at some rain for the Derby.
And you know what? It's not going to stop them. They're still going to be out there. They're still going to be partying. I think the big thing here, it's not going to be 2018, which was the wettest Derby on record, 3.1 inches of rain.
Wow.
That was a soaker. However, there's typically some showers around. The key is, what does 6 o'clock look like?
Right.
They'll take rain during the day, but what does that look like? Because all these horses, $3 million horses, $4 million horses, this is the only time you can run it. Wet race, going to be tough out there. 60s coming in. Cooler Derby, too. Statistically, it's around 71. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Oaks, a little bit more scattered. I'm starting to worry that Saturday for Derby might be a little bit more on the wet side. Let's continue this here at home. If you're once again thinking of plans for maybe Friday evening, you'll notice across our region, a couple showers will develop, especially across Charlotte, into Clemson, the upstate, Columbia. That activity just shows you how slow this is moving. It wouldn't shock me maybe to see some flooding issues down there in the deep south across Louisiana and portions of Mississippi, especially with some of those thunderstorms there near Hattiesburg as we go into Friday afternoon.
Yeah, just kind of slow moving downpours. We're getting into that time of year. Temperature-wise, with that front being slower, we're going to hold on to plenty of warmth here across the Carolinas and all of the deep south. Heading into Friday, we're generally into the 80s across the Carolinas and flirting with 90 down there across Florida as they make that steady march into summer. Up to the northeast we go, kind of gloomy, kind of cloudy, some, we'll call it changeable weather there. Pretty typical there for the northeast and New England for spring. When the sun pops out, we may get a couple of downpours, a couple of thunderstorms there across New York down into Pennsylvania, where they had some of that big time severe weather earlier this week. Nothing like that, but at least some rumblers around Pittsburgh State College down to Altoona as we head into Friday afternoon.
I laugh because basically east of the Mississippi River, it's the same forecast for
Yeah.
everyone as the system just slowly moves through. 76 in Pittsburgh, 75 in State College, and once again holding on to 79 up there in Scranton. Some 80s though, starting to mix into Virginia. Let's take you and continue this down to the southwest. Notice a lot of cloud cover. That is basically where that low pressure is going to originate and start to push its way. You can start to see the circulation across Nebraska, Oklahoma, but look at all those showers and storms. Once again, severe weather on the table for Texas. They have been picking up on plenty of activity down there, basically along the dry line, and eventually what will be that cold front.
Yeah, probably some big hailers down there around Waco and Austin, down into San Antonio and deep South Texas. Temperature-wise, it's hot down there in deep South Texas. Cooler where the clouds hang on a little bit more underneath that upper level low. Amarillo to Oklahoma City, down into Lubbock, Texas, hanging into the upper 60s to right around 70 degrees.
All right, and we'll take you out to the West Coast where they're still waiting for that next round of rain, and it will arrive as we go into Friday evening, mainly for those areas along Portland, Eugene. Even as you go into Medford and Seattle, you'll notice that some scattered showers. Clouds will provide a little bit of a cooler forecast compared to what they've had earlier this week. They actually had some 80s in there yesterday, 75 for Portland, of course, and you'll notice 62. I would love the 60s right now. 62 in San Francisco.
And 96 in Palm Springs.
A little bit of things for everyone. Speaking of which, we do have two new areas here for our temperature extremes, and why not show them? Faith Ranch, Texas, 106. No, thank you.
I'm guessing Southwest Texas.
Yeah, Southwest Texas for sure. Ooh.
In Covington, Michigan, 14. That's got to be way up there in the UP.
Yeah, UP, Upper Peninsula, and certainly cold and no thank you. I'm ready to move on with that point. We are getting into that time of year here as we go into our weather workshop where you might have seen a weather phenomenon and you didn't even know it, or maybe you saw it and were wondering, what the heck is it? Meteorologist Matt Bullock has a look at what you might notice a little bit more often.
This week, we're going to talk about one of many optical phenomenons. We call this sundogs. We've seen this across our viewing area, almost looking like a rainbow in the clouds. So basically, how does a sundog get created? So basically, sunlight hits ice particles in the atmosphere, mainly associated with cirrus clouds. Cirrus clouds are all made up of ice particles. So as that light hits that ice particle, it begins to bend. If it hits the ice particles at a certain angle at 22 degrees, that light begins to bend like a prism, and it creates an illusion like a rainbow in the clouds. So kind of explaining this, here's the sunlight. As the sunlight is hitting these cirrus clouds made of ice particles, it begins to bend at a 22-degree angle, creating this illusion of a rainbow-looking cloud. Now, this is one of many optical phenomena we see across our area. Later on this year, I'll break down more optical phenomena for what we see this time of year. But here in studio, Matt Bullock, WNBF News.
I'm trying to think too of like, we get a lot of photos from people. That's probably one of the more common occurrences of what is this that we get. I'm trying to think of what else there would be. Maybe a sun halo. Most people know what that is.
Yeah. They're all actually connected. That number, 22.5 degrees, is very prominent in optical phenomenon.
Optical phenomenon.
And also, it all ties together. You know, the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn at 22.5 degrees north and south latitude. And those sundogs, if you could have a really clear sky and a really high amount of ice crystals, are all part of connecting circles in the sky. Heliac arcs, perihelions, parhelions. Yeah, they're all connected. Yeah. I love some optical phenomena.
And we love to see it. We don't have any of it, at least for our See It, Snap It, Send It. Not in the sundog fashion, but we do have some beautiful views here. Take me to this from Debbie Matter. I'm in. Have you been to the beach yet?
I haven't. I had lunch down on the beach yesterday. Boy, it was tough to not take a nice stroll or a nap down there on the sand. We're getting into that time of the year, especially since the weather has been quiet. We're getting the teal water, making a comeback, getting that beautiful view there. So Debbie Matter, thanks for sending that one in. And Might have to try to get in some beach time. It's time.
I thought about it. I think I
Yeah.
might do the pool first, but maybe a walk on the beach
Yeah.
in the future for this weekend. Let's go ahead and take you once again. How about a twofer again?
Look at that.
Debbie Matter coming in. This is probably the same exact day, just by judging by the skies, but love to see. Once again, probably Myrtle Beach State Park or somewhere near. It looks like it might be Huntington.
This may have to go into my painting inspiration folder. Ooh. That's good.
Yeah. Good luck with that one. Not that you're not capable.
That
but-
perspective will be a little bit tough, but that's what I like about it.
Yeah.
I like a challenge.
And I
Yeah,
love the
that.
depth
Yeah.
of it. So
Right.
good luck, and
like
maybe
it.
we'll feature your painting on See It, Snap It,
I'll
Send
see
It
what I
soon.
can do.
If you have some painting inspiration for Chief Meteorologist Jamie Arnold, you can scan this QR code, send us a photo of you take. Maybe it's the beach day, maybe it's lunch outside. Just scan it. That'll take you to our First Alert Weather app, the bottom of the app. See it, snap it, send it, and we just might show it here on Weather or Not. No show tomorrow.
Yep.
Starting to have chaos leading up to
Yeah.
next week.
A lot of things going
A lot
on.
of things
Busy week
Myrtle Beach
ahead.
Classic, so then we'll be back the following week here for Weather or Not.
Yeah, but make sure you keep up with us. The app going to be the best way as we head through the weekend with those pop-up showers and storms. That radar feature going to come in handy.
Yeah, sounds good. Have a great weekend, and we will talk to you soon.